Okay, we're about 2:30, so we'll probably get started. We'll come. Why I'm doing this is I want people to get that the Creator is really good, and He's given us everything we need to experience in a wonderful, healthy life. And it's all free. It's all free. You'll see everything that's covering my ground, everything that is in my garden, all is created nature free, it's renewable. And it's very simple. If you look in nature, you look all around you, all these things that are growing beautifully, you know. If someone were to ask you, where on the planet is the most fertile soil? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Forest.
The forest. You know, and everybody, as soon as you said, everybody nods their little course. That's the most fertile soil there is. And how's that soil created and maintained? By needles, leaves, and twigs. Wood chips. It's so basic. It's so like, of course. Yeah. And if you go to school, they'll tell you wood chips tie up nitrogen, make your soil acidic, you can't use it. I just want to tell you, all you guys that are going to school and reading books, if what you're being told in your read that don't line up with nature, you don't see that example in nature, it's a lie. Did you hear me? It's a lie. And all day long today, I'll bring out the lies that they tell you about. Because nature has been doing this for 6,000 years. It's very effective, very functional. And if it doesn't line up with nature, it's not true. And most of the things they're telling you, there's something they want to sell you along with it that's limited and toxic. Are you hearing me? Where everything in nature is free. And they can't make money on it. And so they're not interested. So just get it. But the Father, who's really love, his essence is love, just gives everything away. It was for liberty Christ came to set us free, the Word says. Everything about God is free and sets free. And I love that because it's just, he's so good. So I like to use contrast to show you the power of the covering. You know, again, if you saw my film, you know, I brought to your attention that every living organism has a protective covering. We have skin, you know, dogs have fur, birds have, you know, feathers, fish have scales, and the soil is a living organism, and it should never be uncovered. And everywhere in nature where man hasn't shown up, it's always covered. Always. And you never see mud, you never see dust, but as soon as man shows up, in his arrogant pride, he says, I'm going to tame this, I'm going to grow things. And he cuts down all the trees, rips out all the grass, and exposes this dirt. That immediately gets covered with weeds. You know why it gets covered with weeds? Because nature's intelligent. And nature knows it's not safe uncovered. And it's trying to recover it. And it's like no one's getting it. It's crazy. I'm being honest. When I started here, I was rototilling. Because that's what I was trained to do. As soon as I get out in my garden in April, the ground's soggy wet. I'm going through all this mud. In 5 to 7 days after I till it was solid green with weeds. 5 to 7 days. And I'm out there running my rows through the rocks. I get my tiller between the weed. And I'm doing all this insane work. I'm working so hard to fail. It was pathetic. I'm being real. I mean, I worked hard to fail. And I had this orchard going on out here, you know, because I didn't have water. And I asked the Creator how to deal with it. He took me out to the woods. He showed me how he did it. And so I said, okay, that'll work. But my insanity, I'm still tilling the garden. And then one day I was really angry because I'm pushing the stick down to run the string for my lines in the garden, and I hit this 6 inches down. This hard pan that's not breaking up. I'm thinking, like, what's up with this? 17 years I've been bringing all this organic stuff in my garden, tilling. How come the hard pan's not breaking up? And God was silent, like He wouldn't talk to me. And I thought, what? He says, go out to your orchard and weed. It's okay. So I'm out there in the orchard and weeding, and I just, for no reason, just started moving these wood chips. I'm down to my elbow in this beautiful black compost. So I got up angry, screaming, man, there's something wrong with this picture. I've been killing myself to get this in my garden. I didn't do anything here. And God says, well, works in your garden the same way. You didn't ask. I was so angry. I threw that tiller away and started covering the garden with wood chips. But I'm just telling you how brain dead I was. And again, it's just because we're trained, you know, by our original father, you know, on the planet, Adam, to till. We just do it thinking that's how you're supposed to do it. But it's not how you're supposed to do it. And the Creator doesn't do it. Ever notice the Creator never mixes, never tills? He just layers. And you know, the genius of the layering is just really gets my attention. When do farmers fertilize? Come on. Spring. How stupid. Because they're planting in spring. And it takes time for fertilizer to get down to root level.
Yes.
Even the Creator fertilizes every fall. You notice every fall he covers the earth with needles and leaves. And here's the genius of it. After the fall, he sends rain and snow all winter. That goes through this material, creating compost tea to build the soil for next spring's growth. And he uses gravity to do all the work. When you start checking in how this works, you're just amazed at the genius design. It's genius.
Paul, while you're on the subject, is there any explanation you have biochemically why the pH doesn't change from 7.2, whatever it is, in
7.0.
zero in nature, to what the textbooks say that's going to eat up your nitrogen?
Well,
The wood chips?
I'm going to be very real to you. I'll answer your question with the question, who's the God of this world?
Well, no, I understand that, but I'm just looking, does God of the world above giving you an answer of why the nitrogen doesn't? Where did that come from? Any idea what got that going?
Well, I'm just telling you where it came from. I'm asking you, who's the God of this world?
So you're saying that
His name is Satan. And who's he the father of?
Lies.
Connect the dots. Everything you're getting in this world, the whole school system, everything you're being taught, comes from the father of lies. Be real. He's the God of this world. He's running this show. And this is why we're given an owner's manual. It says in Isaiah 20, if it's not according to this word, there's no light in them. We were given an owner's manual because we need one. We need one. We're being bombarded with lies, and we need to get truth. And that's what it is. And I'm telling you, everything I've been taught are lies. Constantly. And like I say, I've come to the reality, if there's no demonstration in nature of what they're telling me, it's a lie. It's a lie. Like again, this whole idea of, they tell you which is type nitrogen make your soil acidic. I had this biologist come to my place on a tour, and he was very arrogant. He wanted me to know he's a PhD biologist. And he made a point to, I'm a PhD, And I says, fine. And then he made a statement that really got my attention. He says, and you know what you're doing can't work? Well, I love that when people come on like that. Says, well, let's walk around and observe how it's not working. And so when he came to my garden, he saw my celery like this tall, dark green. He says, there's no way you get celery this dark green and this tall without fertilizer. I said, sir, I've never fertilized. He says, I don't believe you. I'm going to come back and test your soil. Well, really? I'd love to see a soil test. I've never had one. So he comes back in 2 weeks with a little black bag. He tests my soil. You know what he found? pH 7.0 on my wood chips. So I tell you, the Holy Spirit came on me. I got in his face. Says, let me tell you something, PhD. Let me tell you something. Let God be true and every man a liar. You got lied to in school. They lied to you. And I says, come on, I want you to explain something to me because you're a PhD. You know everything. How come you see over here? I've got a the color's almost all gone, but there's a hydrangea. Now, hydrangea plants, when they're in acid soil, the flowers are blue. Right. If they're alkaline soil, they're pink. Right. PhD biologists, how come in your presence right now are you seeing both pink and blue flowers at the same time? This guy is totally like dumbfounded. I says, excuse me, you're a PhD, you know everything. Explain to me why. And I says, well, I can explain why. You just told me. The pH is 7.0, center. At center both happen. And the guy left. I'm just telling you, I love God. He's just so awesome how he makes everything perfect, perfectly balanced. And I'm going to take you and show you over here where I'm growing wasabi next to sage, the extremes of water requirements side by side. And we just had a drought here this year, and my wasabi was never watered, and it's beautiful. I just love God. He just does everything perfect, and he needs no help. He doesn't need help because the system's perfect. And see, man in his arrogant pride keeps thinking, we can do it better. We have this idea, and that's better. But it's stupid. It's totally counterproductive. He doesn't get it. Because you can't improve on all wisdom and all knowledge. That's all wisdom, all knowledge. You can't improve on that. It's that place of, okay, God, what are you doing, and how can I be part of it? Because you do it the best. And it's so fun just walking around asking questions, and he says, do this, do that, and it works great. Even though this mind says, I can't, how does that work? Well, this is too small. You got to go here. That's why, you see these animals? Something God showed me this year that really got my attention. It's kind of radical, the thought that he created animals with instinct for their protection. And he gave humans brains for their ultimate destruction. Now, you track with me. You see, these animals all have brains, but an animal will never override their instinct with their brain. They are always subject to their instinct. And he created us with free moral agency choice, and he created us with spirits, which are very similar to instinct and brains. But we can choose which way to go. Now you track with me. Whenever you get revelation, we're talking revelation, what's the first thing that questions it and doubts it? Your brain. And it's immediate. It's not like it waits. It's just like, that's not real. That can't happen. It's like an opposer to truth. That's why the word says, if you doubt, you get nothing from God. Doubt always comes from here. Where does faith come? Here. I'm just telling you, it's huge. And if you look on the planet today where we live, nothing in nature has ever done anything destructive or harmful to the planet. Nothing. It's only the human brain that comes up with ideas that's destroying our planet. It's the brain. That's why the word says the natural man cannot receive the things of God, neither can he know them, because they're spiritually discerned. The instruction we're given in the Proverbs, trust the Lord with your whole heart, that's your spirit. And lean not on your own understanding, that's your brain. And in all your ways, from the heart, from your spirit, connect with God, and he'll show you how to do it. It's so obvious, but we don't get it. And we keep going to this brain, and it keeps messing me up. So I'm learning to shut this thing down and say, okay, follow this because it works. So let's walk over here and look at some demonstrations. Let me show you the power of the covering, how awesome. These two people coming up are my friends, David and Phyllis, and they're from Oregon. And David has written a book about what you're going to see today.
David! Nice! I got your call when I was on the road and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to answer that right now. I'll call him back later. That's awesome. Yeah, your second printing's coming out in a couple weeks, right?
As soon as they ever get it done.
Yeah.
Phyllis.
Hopefully by the end of the month.
Tirza, don't be barking at those dogs. Hey, Tirza.
So big.
Tirza, come on. That's a good dog. I want you barking at deer, but not a dog.
What's my puppy doing, huh?
Yeah, she grew up, huh? She's a good.
So big.
She's a good dog.
Yeah.
See these dogs? If you notice, I have no fences,
So big.
Yeah, what about the deer?
and I have a lot of deer and raccoon and bear and cougar and rabbits who would all take out my garden if they could. But these dogs
Oh, yeah.
are very, very effective, and I'm so thankful for them. Yeah. Because fences are a bummer, you know. You have these big old fences, you have little small accesses, and they're very expensive, you know. But it's so nice to have everything open, and the dogs do a great job. Every night you're out here barking.
So Tova and Tirza are from the Bible, yes?
Yeah, they're Hebrew names. Tova means good, and Tirza means delight. You want to name your animals good names. You know, names are important. They are, you know. You don't want to name them. You want them to be, you know. And isn't she a delight? I mean, look at her. She's just sweetest, and she's been so good. I mean, this is she's been 15 years old, and she's been such an amazing dog. 15 years, you know. And I want you to look at her coat. You know, at 15 years of age, usually they're gray and looking pretty bad, but she looks that's good because you'll notice in a little bit she'll be eating apples and pears and everything out of the garden because that's what they live on, good live food, and so they look good. Well, let these people get up here and we'll get started.
So I say Paul is all about sharing things for free and things like that, and that's what we love about him. You can spend the whole time here, and you know he's not going to offer you to buy some of his soil, whatever.
He doesn't have a book, so he's not going to.
Yeah, so someone had to write a book about him. So the e-book of Growing Food God's Way, we're going to make available free on. That's the paperback that will come out. But the e-book is on Amazon, and in 3 days, on the 23rd, will be a free day. Just go on to Amazon on the 23rd. Either type in Paul's name or Growing Food God's Way, and then you just go to buy it, and it'll just say 0 amount, and you just upload it for free. So it's the only reason I come here is to talk about when it's going to be free.
Wow.
Well, I mean, no, I come here because I love coming here.
But if you download it, look at it.
Yeah, you can just
Oh,
find it.
it's your picture.
We're good. Thanks.
We'll just keep that to ourselves.
And
the
to
free
meet,
day.
to meet L2Survive. That's the other reason I'm coming today.
When we first met him in Stratford.